Ahoy crew, and welcome back for another bake, another thing to make. Today we're going to be making some bread, specifically an oatmeal batter bread. If you've had an opportunity to look at my page anytime recently, you'll probably notice there are a lot of things that I make, bread being one of them. Anytime that I have the opportunity to make something new, especially a different type of bread that I've never tried, I'm always up for the challenge. This is one that I found in an old Mennonite country style recipe book. So I figured oatmeal batter bread, it has some onions, it has some cheese. I figured, why not? I've never made that one before, so we're gonna try it out. So if you'd like to see how it turns out, come along and take a look. All right, let's get this started. So for this oatmeal bread, we're gonna start with half a cup of warm water, 2 packages of dry yeast, and a teaspoon of sugar. Then we'll have 1 cup of quick oats, half of a cup of flour, half of a cup of brown sugar, and 1 tablespoon of salt to start. We'll also need 2 cups of boiling water, 2 tablespoons of margarine or butter, 1 cup of grated sharp cheddar cheese, 1 medium onion minced, and finally 5 cups of flour additionally. There's definitely a little more going on in this bread than your typical sandwich loaf, especially with the oatmeal, the sharp cheddar, and the onion, so I'll be really interested to see what kind of flavor and texture we get when everything comes together. We're starting with the yeast, so combine that warm water, the dry yeast, a teaspoon of sugar, stirring everything together until it dissolves, and then set that aside. That's going to give the yeast a chance to get started while we work with the rest of our dough. And anytime you're working with yeast, remember that we want warm water here, not too hot. Too much heat can work against us before we even get the bread started. For the oatmeal mixture in a separate bowl, I'm going to combine the quick oats, the flour, the brown sugar, and the salt. And remember, we're only going to start off with that half of a cup of flour, and then add in the 2 cups of boiling water and the butter or margarine, stirring everything together until it's well mixed. Now this mixture needs to cool down to lukewarm before we can add our yeast. Again, because we don't want to expose that yeast mixture to something that's extremely hot. So I'm going to take my time and really work on that until it cools down. You'll see I've actually temperature checked it throughout this mixture. Once everything has cooled down, our yeast mixture goes in and we're adding the grated sharp cheddar cheese and our onion. I really like the addition of cheese and onion here because this isn't going to be an overly sweet oatmeal bread. Between the oats, the flour, the sharp cheddar, the onion, we should end up with a really interesting savory kind of loaf. Now it's time for the flour. We're going to need 5 cups total, and I'm going to gradually work that into the mixture until we have a smooth, elastic dough. As that flour goes in, you'll see that transition from something that looks more like a thick oatmeal mixture to an actual bread. And once everything comes together, we can start working and kneading that dough until it becomes smooth and elastic, and you will see that. Now, we get to give the dough some time to do its thing. I'm putting it into a greased bowl, covering it, letting it rise until it doubles in size. And this is one of those parts of bread making where you really can't rush the process. Here in Arizona, it moves a little bit quicker, so I took about an hour between each rise. But rather than watching the clock, I'm going to look at that dough itself to make sure it's doubled before we're ready for our next step. And you'll see how much it's grown. Punch that dough down, let it rise again, because we'll be doing that twice. That means another round of waiting until our dough has doubled in size. Bread definitely takes some patience, but I think that's also part of what makes homemade bread so satisfying. You start with a handful of pretty basic ingredients, give them some time, and suddenly you've gotten this beautiful risen dough. After that second rise, I'm dividing the dough in half and shaping it into 2 loaves. Those go into 2 greased 9 by 5 inch loaf pans. And now we'll wait one more time. I'm going to cover those loaves and let them rise in the pans until they've doubled again. And this will be our final rise before baking. And you can really start to see what these finished loaves are going to look like. If you've made it this far with me, drop me a like and let me know in the comments what kind of bread you'd like to see me make next. I'm always looking for another recipe to try. Now, once those are ready, we're going to get those baked and put into a preheated 350-degree oven for about 40 minutes. Because I'm putting both in there, I'm going to rotate those loaves at about 20 minutes between each. After all that mixing, kneading, shaping, and waiting, this is the part where the kitchen finally starts smelling like fresh bread. And there aren't many things that smell better than that, especially with those onion and cheese flavors. Would you look at those? While the loaves are hot, I'm going to brush the tops with butter. This is one of those simple finishing touches that I absolutely wouldn't skip. The butter melts right into the warm crust and adds some extra flavor and gives the tops those beautiful finishes. At this point, I really want to cut into one, but freshly baked bread benefits from a little patience before slicing. And while we're waiting, if you've been enjoying these recipes, drop a follow and come cook with me. I've got plenty of more recipes I want to make, but I also want to hear what you want to see. Old cookbook recipes, breads, desserts, family recipes, something unusual you've always wondered about. Put your suggestions in the comments and I may make yours in an upcoming video. All right, we've waited long enough. Let's cut into this bread and you'll see how soft it came out. We've got this beautiful soft interior underneath, that golden crust, and I'm really happy how these loaves turned out. But we're not stopping there. I'm going to cut off a slice, toast it, and add a little bit of butter while it's still warm. And then, for the most important part, give it a try. Thank you, crew, for coming and cooking with me. Drop a follow, leave a like, and I'll see you in the kitchen.